Every time John introduces us to somebody, he says we're engaged.
I'm John Rael, and I am a skeptical filmmaker.
My name's Kevin Conover, and I'm a young earth creationist.
I make films that promote science, critical thinking, skepticism.
I have a radio program where I talk about apologetics. A lot of people don't know what apologetics is. It comes from a Greek word, apologia. It means to defend, and I teach apologetics to Christian school students.
When it comes to evolution versus creationism, I think evolution is real, and creationism is a story. It's a myth. It's a religion.
I believe in a 6-day creation, what it says in Genesis in the Bible.
Spending a whole day handcuffed to anyone is going to be awkward.
I like trying new things. I'm kind of excited.
Let's get handcuffed. I want to meet this guy.
Yeah, I'm ready to put the handcuffs on. Nice to meet you, John.
Kevin Conover.
That's right, John Rael. Ready to do this?
Haven't been arrested too often.
Oh yeah, no, this will be my first time in handcuffs. Ah, look at that, that's the real.
This is the real, like...
No flexibility there. We're gonna be really close to each other.
What are the terms of blasphemy for you? I was Catholic, so that means I have a ton of swears in me.
Don't say things like blank, damn it, and don't say use Jesus' name in vain.
Let's go.
Okay, here we go. We got into the car through the passenger side. And then crawl over to the driver's seat because we're handcuffed, and I don't know how else to do this.
This guy's giving exposition.
Sorry, I'm not so experienced with filmmaking.
Okay. Here we go. Hopefully we don't crash. You know, if you want to accept Christ, now might be a good time. So as soon as we got in the car, we were talking about how do you get chlorophyll? If the sun's energy is coming to the earth, and chlorophyll is what takes advantage of the sun's energy, how do you get the chlorophyll to evolve if it doesn't exist yet and there's nothing to harness the energy?
And I was like, hold on, little biology card to play, and that's when we met Stephen Orzak.
So what you're asking, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is how you have any closed membrane organism can capture and reproduce itself. That's what you're asking about.
That is what I'm asking, yeah.
We still don't understand the origin of life, and we're still at a point where we understand where that first energy capturing creature became a real organism. But given that you have organisms, the process easily unfolds in the way that we understand it as biologists.
I was comfortable with it. I kept announcing our engagement.
And I said, no, we're not engaged. I have a ring. I am married. So when did you start getting into filmmaking?
Well, you know, you come to LA to do the acting thing, and you're like, well, I'm sick of commercials, I'm sick of background work, so I got to start making my own cool stuff, and so that's kind of what I do now. What about you? Where are you taking the podcast?
I'm sharing a Christian perspective on the radio, and that's what I've done my whole life. Had a lot of questions about God because I kept running into all these people that didn't believe what I believed, and so I was like, man, what in the world? What do I believe? And how do I know that what I believe is true? At what point where you're like, I'm definitely an atheist.
I was 14, and we asked our drama teacher, like, what do you believe? And she's like, oh, I don't really want to discuss it, but I'm an atheist. And I just started reading all these websites and books, and I'm like, oh, crap, that's what I am.
I was born with believing parents, but biblically, the argument is that it's something you have to decide for yourself. It's not something your parents can decide for you.
I think if anything could change my perspective, it would be the evidence.
I'm open to having my perspective change. Experience has told me that's unlikely.
And then we ended up at the Natural History Museum.
Right when we walked in, they had a dinosaur exhibit, which I was not expecting. All throughout, it's mentioning evolution, and it's mentioning millions of years. How do you know that this creature was from all the way back then? I'm questioning everything from this evolutionary paradigm.
At the Creationism Museum, as you can expect, it was a little frustrating. There were children there, and that breaks my heart.
I think it's good that kids have the opportunity to choose.
We should examine them, we should look into them, hypothetically, in our own time, but when it comes to, like, you know, hey, here's the stuff you need to learn, kids. If I had my way, we would be in a society where a creation museum would never occur to somebody.
I am radically opposed to what you just said.
We got to the radio station, and I got my man Ross Blotcher on the line.
Is Christianity specifically good for culture, good for society, or is it a detriment and a drag on society?
Obviously, there's a lot of positive in there that the Christian communities have contributed, but I don't think there's anything within Christianity or any religion that you need to believe in order to live the best you can, to be the most moral person you can.
The difficulty I have is an atheist who tells me they have a yardstick, because There is no yardstick except the yardstick you make.
Nobody has a yardstick. You don't have a yardstick. I don't have a yardstick. You can say you do, but when it comes to real life and applying these moral principles to our actual interactions, our politics, all of the difficult things that we deal with in life, we're all at the same spot where we have to just talk it out.
And we also have Michael Shermer, who is a publisher of Skeptic Magazine. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Yep, I'm here.
The Big Bang is a poof, and it happened. I mean, that's what the Big Bang is, right? All the 28 billion light years across came from absolutely nothing. That's the claim. And it came with it without a designer or purpose or anything. It's just completely, I mean, to me, if you want to talk about let's become a skeptic, I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, but see, cosmologist means something different by nothing. There's always quantum energy in the so-called empty space. It's not really empty. And that goes all the way back to the very beginning.
It's hard for me to understand why you would think it makes more sense that nothing made everything.
Nobody is saying that nothing made everything. We're saying we don't know, therefore we don't fill in our lack of knowledge with whatever we want.
That's the atheist alarm.
This is my wife, Marissa.
How are you?
Hi.
He got there, and my wife immediately kicked into, hospitable mode, and she's just really good that way.
Those are real handcuffs.
Yeah, they're serious.
There's the real deal. I'm not worried about the handcuffs so much as I'm curious how our bathroom breaks are gonna work.
That's gonna be a little weird.
Are you serious? You're not going to the bathroom together?
Okay, ready? I'm going to the bathroom.
Oh, it's real.
John, this is Emma, my daughter.
Emma, how's it going? I'm John. No pressure. I didn't mean to scare you.
Can you say nice to meet you?
Nice to meet you.
If you guys don't want to be on this, though.
By the way,
We have each other all around. I really want to be on BuzzFeed.
You want to be on BuzzFeed?
I love BuzzFeed.
I believe murder is always wrong. It emanates from God's character. So that being the case, there's a grounding there for morality. From an atheist perspective, you may say murder is wrong. If I wasn't a Christian, I might say, I think it's okay to murder certain people. Well, where do you go with that? There's no grounding for morality. It'd just be your opinion versus my opinion.
taking a life that is unnecessarily taken is not okay.
Yeah, but who are you to say that?
I'm a person. I'm me.
Yeah, but why is your opinion better than mine?
Because you want to kill, you would hypothetically be saying that it is okay to kill somebody, and it's not.
Yeah, but who are you to force your morals on me?
The moral actually would be
You're telling me I'm
you can't force
wrong.
somebody's life away from
Yeah,
them.
but you're telling me I'm wrong and you're right.
In this hypothetical case, yeah.
Is it okay to tell somebody else that they're wrong and you're right?
Definitely. We're getting ready for bed.
How awkward is that?
I'm kind of morbidly curious about how the sleeping arrangement is going to happen.
I'm a little nervous about, having a stranger sleep in my house, with my wife and my kids. That's a little weird.
Go ahead and use...
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, that's what we're doing here. Okay, I put water on my toothbrush.
You've never slept with a stranger before.
No, that's true, especially not a stranger, like a guy on the first night. First time I met you, that's really weird. And it was actually really comfortable at first. Like, I was lying back and I was just like, we had all these pillows. We had tons of pillows and a gigantic teddy bear too.
Yeah.
I was trying really hard not to move my arm.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to bother him, I didn't want to wake him up, and so I started to get stiff, and I was like, oh man, I can't move.
Marissa, aren't you guys gonna say a prayer or something?
Do you want us to say a prayer?
I'm not trying to force you into being good Christians. I didn't think that was necessary, but I thought that was something that people did before bedtime.
Well, normally I pray for my kids before we go to bed, but you prevented that.
Good night, BuzzFeed.
Night.
We're doing the breakfast handcuff thing. Waking up, lovely morning. How are you, Missy? No pressure.
Overall, when I was getting involved in getting handcuffed to somebody who completely disagrees with me, I was thinking, like, what is the point of this? As I thought more about it, I think for me the big takeaway is that it really helps me to see the humanity of John. I got to know him as a person. What was cool about this whole experience is it's great realizing there are people who disagree with you about a particular subject, but that's not necessarily what defines them. There's so much more to a person than just their opinion on creation and evolution or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it was nice coming face to face with Creationists, not just because, hey, you're a human, I'm a human, it's all good, but to actually gain
respect for who he is and the way he thinks. To know that as much as I might feel one way about his ideology or what he thinks or believes, I can't necessarily feel that way about him directly as a person.
I mean, the conversations we had, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a softie underneath this cold, hard exterior.
You're touching me, Kevin.
Here we go. This is the big moment.
And there we go. Goodness.
Yes. Oh, I feel like I can stretch. Praise the Lord.